Have you ever looked at someone incredibly successful and just thought, wow, they really had it easy? Or, maybe you've started working toward your own dream, faced a couple of unexpected hurdles, and suddenly you feel this heavy doubt creeping in. Well, welcome to The Explainer, where we take powerful concepts and break them down into visual roadmaps for your personal and professional growth. Look, if you've ever felt stuck, if you've failed, or if you've ever just questioned your own abilities on your journey, I want you to know you are in exactly the right place. Because today, we are unpacking one of the absolute biggest, most universal misconceptions about success. It's the exact question that haunts almost everyone who dares to try something difficult. Am I on the wrong path? You face a single setback and boom, the imposter syndrome hits hard. But the truth we're looking at today is that most people don't quit because they lack the talent, the intelligence, or the drive. They quit because they fundamentally misunderstand what growth actually looks like. They hit a bump, they assume it means they're doing it all wrong, and they walk away. So today, I'm going to show you exactly why the journey to success is literally never a straight line, and more importantly, why that chaotic, bumpy ride is actually your greatest advantage. Okay, let's dive into the straight line illusion. It's neat, it's clean, it's exactly what we all secretly hope for. We put in the work and just glide perfectly from point A to point B. But the zigzag reality? Yeah, it's messy. It drops, it loops, it crashes, and it climbs. This zigzag is the true, authentic path to success. And yet we constantly judge ourselves against that impossible straight line standard. Which brings us to section 1, the illusion, or the invisible story of success. So why do we so easily fall for this myth? Well, society completely surrounds us with end results, right? We see the highlight reels of the brilliant CEO or the gold medal athlete. And when we set a goal, our minds love to create a perfectly predictable picture. We imagine this snappy 3-step process. Work hard, improve a little every day, and achieve the goal. Simple, right? But as we quickly find out, human growth just doesn't fit into neat little plans like that. Because when we look past that simple 3-step illusion, we start uncovering the heavy burdens of reality. Success has an invisible story. Beneath the surface of every overnight success are years of rejection, constant failures, sleepless nights, and major sacrifices. This is the reality that successful people lived through while the rest of the world was only looking at their final destination. Let's move on to section 2, the reality of growth and normalizing the downward trend. If we know the straight line is a total myth, we really have to mentally reframe how we view our own failures. A downward slope isn't a dead end. Up, down, up, crash, slowly climb. That is the actual rhythm of real sustainable growth. You will go up when things finally click, and you'll completely crash when a project fails. You might even stop believing in yourself for a minute. And we have to normalize this. This isn't failing. This is literally the mechanics of succeeding. All right, section 3, why setbacks matter as the mechanism for growth. You see, these frustrating downward trends aren't just unfortunate accidents. They are strictly necessary. Think about the absolute most vital skills you've developed in your life. Ask yourself, did your confidence come from comfort? Did you learn resilience while sitting on the couch when everything was just going your way? No way. True confidence comes from looking back and realizing you survived a highly difficult situation. Every single setback is really just a hidden teacher delivering an exact lesson you need. Look at it this way. Failure forces preparation. Rejection demands improvement. Criticism cultivates humility. And challenges, they build your resilience. If everything worked perfectly on your very first try, you would never ever build the mental muscles required to sustain long-term success. Just like at the gym, your muscles only grow when they push against heavy resistance. Now for section 4, winners versus quitters, and the ultimate differentiator. So what actually separates the people who make it through that painful zigzag from those who just pack it up and go home? Well, society tells us we desperately need massive intelligence, incredible luck, or some kind of natural-born talent. But the single biggest differentiator isn't any of those things. It is simply consistency. It's the totally unglamorous, repetitive act of just keeping going when your progress slows down to a crawl. And that brings us to this incredibly powerful realization. Temporary failure isn't permanent defeat. When the graph of your life crashes downward today, the quitters assume it's completely over. But the winners, they know it's just a micro-trend in a macro journey. If you keep pushing, keep learning, and keep showing up, the overarching trend will eventually move upward. And here is the profound secret. It doesn't move upward because life suddenly got easier. It moves upward because you got stronger. Consistency is literally just the refusal to stop when progress slows or the path gets difficult. We often think of consistency as just doing the exact same thing over and over, kind of like a robot. But in the context of growth, it's the immense mental fortitude to keep learning, to actually take the feedback from painful setbacks and show up again tomorrow despite how much it might have hurt today. Which leads us to our final part, Section 5, building your own story and choosing progress over perfection. As we bring this explainer to a close, it is time to officially stop competing against someone else's straight-line highlight reel. Don't expect perfection, expect progress. When you inevitably hit a wall, don't fear the setback, learn from it. Because one day, you're going to look back at your wild, zigzagging journey and realize that all those agonizing ups and downs weren't blocking your success at all. They were actively creating it. Dreams give you the direction, for sure, but consistency is the vehicle that actually gets you there. So, I want to leave you with a provocative question to really reflect on. What's one setback that made you stronger? Think about a time you thought the graph was crashing, only to realize later it was just building the foundation for a much higher climb. Remember, success isn't about having a perfect journey. It's about refusing to stop when the illusion shatters. Keep embracing the zigzag, and I'll see you in the next explainer.